Phil Foden runs riot as Man City remind Arsenal of their title credentials, 5 talking points. Brighton and Hove Albion 0-2 for Manchester City. Pep Guardiola's title holders kept their fate in their own hands as they chase a 4th straight Premier League crown. Kevin De Bruyne and Phil Foden set Manchester City on course for a comfortable victory at Brighton as the reigning Premier League champions kept up their push for a 4th successive title. De Bruyne broke the deadlock inside 20 minutes at the Amex Stadium with a rare headed goal, before Foden added to City's advantage with a quick-fire double. Any hopes of a collapse to rival Liverpool's on Wednesday night were quickly put to bed, and Julian Alvarez added a 4th around the hour mark. The result lifted City above Liverpool into second and means a perfect record from their last 5 games of the season will ensure Pep Guardiola's men end the season as champions. Less than maximum points could yet be enough if Arsenal, their closest challengers, slip up. Before kickoff, some were wondering whether Roberto De Zerbi's Seagulls might provide a potential banana skin. Those fears were quickly allayed, though, and it's on to the next one. After mixed results for Arsenal and Liverpool earlier in the week, City had to try to focus on their own task at hand. Mikel Arteta's Gunners thrashed Chelsea on Tuesday to lay down a marker, but Jurgen Klopp's Reds were unable to follow suit as they lost at Everton the following day. The first big chance of the game came their way, but Nathan Ake was always stretching to meet Phil Foden's free kick and couldn't divert the ball on target. They didn't have to wait much longer, though, and it was De Bruyne who struck first with a stooping header from Kyle Walker's cross. Lewis Dunk's header moments later reminded City their opponents posed a threat, but City always looked like they had more goals in them. So it proved when Foden's free kick took a deflection off Pascal Gross and found its way past Seagulls keeper Jason Steele. It was all over before half-time, with Foden benefiting from a loose Valentin Barco pass and finding the corner, while Alvarez added gloss to the scoreline from a second Walker assist of the night. Here are Mirror Football's talking points as City march on. 1. De Bruyne has more strings to his bow. Is there anything Kevin De Bruyne can't do? If you'd said, score a headed goal in the Premier League, you'd have been right, until tonight. The Belgian has scored with his head before, most notably in the 2021-22 Champions League semi-final against Real Madrid. That one was a close-range effort as he dived to meet an in-swinging Riyad Mahrez delivery, but this one required a lot more work. Purists might refer to Walker's cross being at an awkward height, too high for a comfortable volley and too low, and perhaps too deep, for an easy-headed effort. Turns out De Bruyne has pinging a header into the top corner from 18 yards in his arsenal, though, along with everything else. Back in 2019, City needed a long-range thunderbolt from Vincent Kompany to remain in control in the title race. Somehow, when the chips are down, they always find a way, however unlikely. 2. Foden still leading by example. If there were any lingering questions about Phil Foden's quality after his 11 league goals last term, he has answered them this time around. The England international's hat-trick against Aston Villa in March took him beyond that tally in the league and above 20 in all competitions, and he could yet end the campaign with 20 in the league alone. The 23-year-old's free kick was his 15th in the Premier League, and he tucked home number 16 just after the half-hour mark. There were questions over the former, with Foden appearing to slip rather than being fouled, but no doubt over the second of his goals on the south coast. With the Euros on the horizon, England have plenty of attacking talent at their disposal. It would be hard to justify leaving Foden out of the starting 11, though, with national team boss Gareth Southgate able to enjoy Thursday's goals close up. 3. Barco's full debut to forget. There are baptisms of fire and then there's this. Valentin Barco had played just 11 senior minutes for Brighton before the City game, but was handed a full debut against the champions by Roberto De Zerbi. The teenage left-back, who joined from Boca Juniors in January, is already a full international for Argentina. Going up against City in front of the eyes of the world was a different kind of pressure compared to friendlies for his country, though. Sadly, confidence can be a two-way street. The teenager didn't necessarily seem overawed, but perhaps he should have been as he gave the ball away for Foden's second and City's third. There were also questions over the youngster for City's fourth, when Walker got in behind before feeding Alvarez. The challenge now is how he responds to the sort of game many defenders will have had nightmares about, and the attacking impetus he offered late on will offer some encouragement already. 4. Brighton injury woes still visible. Roberto De Zerbi has welcomed some players back from injury in recent weeks, but the absentee list remains significant. While Erling Haaland was the only notable absentee for the visitors, De Zerbi was missing 8 first-teamers including Kaoru Mitoma, Evan Ferguson and the experienced James Milner. It was Pervis Estupiñán's injury which forced the boss to roll the dice with Barco, and the Italian threw on home debutant Odell Offier as he sought a second-half response. City, in contrast, had the luxury of turning to a bench packed with more than £300 million worth of talent. Later in the second half, Mark O'Mahony became their host's second home debutant. City, meanwhile, threw on £100 million man Jack Grealish. 5. Rivals can't freeze amid City ruthlessness. After Liverpool lost to Everton on Wednesday, Virgil van Dijk suggested more performances like the one at Goodison Park would mean the Reds would have no chance of the title. What he didn't say, but what many were probably thinking, is that Manchester City almost never put in such displays. They certainly don't do so at the business end of the season. City recorded 5 wins from 5 league games in April last year as they closed in on the treble, and have 4 victories from 4 in the league this month ahead of Sunday's trip to Nottingham Forest. How do you respond to what looks to be an unstoppable machine? That's what Arsenal need to figure out as they look to keep the pressure up and hope. Thanks for watching this video. If you like this, don't forget like and subscribe this channel. Goodbye.